John Dickinson belongs in the A tier due to his significant contribution to the American Revolution. His formation of ideas contributed to the growing foundation of America. He was born on November 13, 1732, in Talbot County, Maryland. He was born into a wealthy Quaker family. At the age of 6 in 1740, his family moved to an estate in Dover, Delaware. After receiving education by a tutor, his life as a solicitor and politician began when he was just 18 years old. Following in his father's footsteps, he went into the study of law in a Philadelphia law office with the former king's attorney, John Mullen. His life from 1753 to 1757 consisted of him attending the Middle Temple at the Inns of Court in London. On July 19, 1770, he married Mary Police Norrie. John Dickinson was born into wealth and power and eventually inherited his wife's estate when they got married. His family was known as one of the most wealthiest families in the region. Before his wife's death on July 7, 1803, the two would have a total of 5 children. Unfortunately, only the first and last survived. Religion played an important role in his life. Many of his political beliefs were strongly shaped by Quakerism. Although he was never an official member of the Society of Friends, a Quaker-based group, he was a firm believer of lawfulness of defensive war. His early years as a politician. He was elected to the Pennsylvania Assembly in 1762, which led to him playing a major role in one of the colony's most important controversies. Fighting for the charter privileges would eventually lead to him being a champion of civil rights and constitutional perpetuity against Britain. Regarding their early conflicts, he was nominated as the leader of the Stamp Act Congress in 1765. He fought to secure American rights and no taxation without representation. His resistance was peaceful, however, clearly shown through his works of published pamphlets. His title as an American international figure grew during the Townshend Acts of 1767. His writings of Letters from a Farmer in Pennsylvania expressed a desire for unity amongst the colonies during Britain's oppression. In his work, he emphasized against the Revolution as a solution to the governmental oppression they were receiving. His publication of the Liberty Song was seen as America's first patriotic song. As a result of this, he was seen as America's first political hero. Although he opposed war, he still made sure to have America prepared for it. Further through his career, he was involved with the First and Second Continental Congress. He crafted many negotiations, boycotts, and peaceful breakages against Britain. Being the leader of the Quaker Assembly in Pennsylvania, he had the most influence over the Congress and the public than any other figure. And as the author of the voting instructions to the Pennsylvania delegates, he almost adopted the Declaration of Independence. He also wrote the first version of the Articles of Confederation, which preached for protection for dissenters and a strong central government. His turning point. He gave a reputation-destroying speech against independence to Congress. He expressed that he felt the country would be the safest under British control because they did not have an official constitution or foreign alliances. This led to him withdrawing from proceeding further. His military service. His contribution to his military service began with him leading the battalion on the New Jersey front. Soon after, out of fear, he resigned and moved his family out of Philadelphia because the British were approaching. Although he had great leadership and resistance to Britain and over the country, people viewed him as a traitor. He received poor treatment, threats, attacks, and charges against him. Determined to prove his loyalty to the country and patriotism for America, he enlisted in the Delaware militia and fought in the Battle of Brandywine. He served in the Confederation Congress, formulated military policy, and fought for negotiating peace. Expanding his authority. He was elected president of Delaware and Pennsylvania, and he fought for rights. His contribution. He was a chairman on the Articles of Confederation, offering ideas that shaped and advanced deliberations. He had a vision of creating a relationship between the states and the federal government. He felt the people should be represented in one branch and the states in the other. He was one of the few members who took a stance against slavery. His retirement. He tried retiring from his political career but was continuously called back for help. His writing of provisions in the Declaration of Rights would be adopted by most states later. He favored France as an alliance. He sought to informally advise other significant political figures. His legacy is titled as Penman of the Revolution, however, distorts his actual intentions of coming to the conclusion of independence. He did everything in his power to avoid war and revolution. He wanted to secure the rights of the Americans through peacefully protesting. He wanted to make a perfect union amongst Americans. His significance as an American politician is supported by being the first national figure to advocate for civil rights, a governmental reform, and a constitution. Even though he died on February 14, 1808, he will always be remembered as the founding father of the United States.